So we are here with Rachel Romes, aka Rachel Rudwall. How are you?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
Good. Now Rachel is a producer and host and sort of a world traveler, right?
From time to time.
From time to time?
Yeah.
You did a little bit of traveling in your day.
If I can, yeah. Where I can.
Explain a little bit about what you do, first of all.
I produce for TV, so I am freelance and I work with all kinds of networks like Discovery Channel, National Geographic. Currently A&E, I'm producing Storage Wars, which is really goofy and it's a fun treasure hunt.
Storage Wars.
Yeah, it's really fun. And additionally, I also produce and shoot and host a lot of content for the web. So I have done content for Travel Channel's website. I've done content for Four Seasons Hotels and Resorts. This past month I had a piece that I hosted and shot that went into American Airlines first class cabins, which means I'll never see it. So it's a mixed bag. It's always freelance and it's what opportunities arise to tell the world's stories.
Absolutely. So how did you get into producing and hosting?
I had an internship that was the summer between my junior and senior years of college that allowed me to combine media with travel. And I had no background in media, but I wanted to be a storyteller. I loved writing, I loved photography, and this internship was kind of a very serendipitous opportunity where I was sent around the world and I was producing, shooting, hosting, editing, blogging.
And this was an internship?
An internship. They actually trusted an intern with a very tiny stipend in 15 countries with their limited gear, and they were like, good luck, do some things. So in having that opportunity, it allowed me to see that I could travel and do some good along the way, but I didn't have to do it in the more typical ways of teaching English abroad or becoming a diplomat, something that was much more suits wearing, pearls wearing, fancy.
Did you have a passion for travel before you visited those 15 countries?
I did, yes. I think that was part of the reason that they gave me the job, because they thought that I could be trusted to not get lost all over the place around the world. So I'd done some traveling before, but it really only began in college for me.
What was your first trip that you ever took?
Well, I went to Michigan a lot in the summers.
Well, I'm talking about, like, you've been to a lot of cool places. So I'm talking like the first real faraway place that you were sort of on your own doing your thing.
The first big trip that I took was when I was 19. And it was one of those things where if you're lucky enough and also landlocked enough, when you're in college, you're like, I want to see Europe, right? And so my friends and I from high school, we were like, let's backpack for 6 weeks. So we went to Europe and we did the Eurail thing and we packed all our stuff in backpacks. We packed way too much and we explored, and then I was pretty well hooked on motion and exploring.
So from college to the beginning of your career, you sort of, the travel bug bit you and you knew this is what you wanted to do. So how did you make the transition from college to real world?
In college, I was studying international studies and foreign languages. So that allowed me to begin the travel and get a real feeling for how to engage with the world. And then when I was transitioning after the internship that I had and recognizing that I could combine exploring with media, I essentially just started reaching out to everybody that I could. And I was like, I think you're really neat. I want to be a storyteller. Can we meet for coffee? You know, can I take you out to lunch? And I knew that I would be moving to LA. I decided that this was a really good hub for storytellers and also their sunshine, right? So all these people that I emailed, I didn't expect to hear back from most of them. I thought if I hear back from 1 in 10, I'm in luck. I heard back from like 3/4 of the people. I met with at least half. And all of these people were so open in a way that I didn't anticipate because I said, I'd like to learn from you.
Right.
Instead of saying, do you have a job available? And so they wanted to share their knowledge. And those are the same people who then put me to work. So when an opportunity arose, they were like, you seem eager, you're interested, we'll take you on.
So you wear a lot of hats in your career, or what you have going on right now. So what's your favorite role? Do you prefer being a producer? Do you like being a host?
I prefer being on camera. The interesting thing is I haven't pursued that as my first goal in the first few years while I've been in LA, because I wanted to be able to be the consummate storyteller. So I came out here knowing that I wanted to learn the ropes from the ground up. I wanted to know what it was like to learn a beginning and a middle and an end of a story that I was telling. I wanted to know the gear so that I could be a real key member of the crew. And so that by the time I got in front of the camera again after my internship, however long after that might be, I would know what I was doing, and I would know how to phrase things, and I would know how to engage, hopefully, the audience that I was trying to engage. So being in front of the camera is the thing that allows me to actually be a part of the world in a different way. So when you're looking through a lens, you're seeing it, but you're not touching it.
Right.
And when I'm on the other side, I get to be a part of it, and I get to communicate with people and learn from them.
You've been to like a million awesome places, and I've gone nowhere. So I want to know your favorite place that you've ever been to.
That's a really tough question. I would say of the places that I've been, there are a couple that I've had the privilege to live. So I lived in Spain during college, and I lived in Scotland. So those are places that I feel are really magnetic connections and kind of can't be beaten because I lived there and I got to really exist and eat the food and hang with the people. But I also love East Africa. So Kenya and Uganda, love those places. And I just returned from Iceland, and it is the most otherworldly landscape I've ever seen. There was a night that I was camping and looked around while the food was cooking and was like, 13 waterfalls around my camp, just kind of hanging out, just 13 of them, and sheep grazing, and there was a volcano, and there was a glacier, and I was like, this is like, it's like Ireland on steroids as far as my imagination of Ireland goes.
Oh my gosh.